Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to council. Monday, September the 14th, 2020. Call the meeting to order at 12 p.m. As always, remind everybody to put on your vibration on your phone or turn it off so no interruptions. I have a motion here that council hereby accepts the agenda for Monday, September 14th, 2020, regular meeting of council circuit. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, any mover? Balance and Jingram? All in favor? Thank you. Any declarations of interest? Hearing none, I have a motion here that council hereby adopts the minutes of the regular meeting of council that were held on Monday, August 24th, 2020, as circularly amended. Moved by Councillor Gingras, second by Councillor Valens. Any questions, errors, omissions of those minutes?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
I'm hoping we can have a discussion again on council meeting times. I can only be here for 20 minutes if we have them at noon.
Okay, we will discuss that for sure. Councillor Lake is not here. We did discuss it a bit before he left. He had somebody called in, so he had to get back. So we will discuss it as a council to move forward with the meetings and times, see if it works for everybody. We have to be all on the same page to get sure that we can move forward. Okay. Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Up next, we have a report on the Peninsula Golf Course Insurance Program. Mr. Skorczynski.
So just an update for council with respect to where we're at with the insurance process as it relates to the Peninsula Golf Course Clubhouse. So 3 items that we're in the process of settling with our insurance company. That's the building valuation and settlement, contents loss settlement, and business interruption and settlement, which includes loss of revenue and operational replacement costs. So those are things like reinstalling power. So administration expects that the building and contents claims should be settled by the end of September. Once this is complete, the following schedule has been developed to undertake the process to construct a new clubhouse for 2021. Administration to draft initial design considerations for council's review, and we'll have those to council in October. Enter into contract negotiations with the chosen contractor for design, engineering, and construction services. We're targeting November. As per our insurance policy, we're not required to go to tender, and we can contract directly with a firm of our choosing, which will help from a time perspective. We'll complete the contract with the chosen company in December. From there, we'll complete draft design options, and that's likely to happen in December and January. We'll hold a brief public consultation based on draft design options in February, likely to be virtual or online. We'll complete our final design in March. We'll start construction in April. Obviously, this always depends on the winter and how deep the frost line is. And then we're expecting it'll likely take 6 to 7 months to complete construction, which puts us later 2021. So that's the tentative plan. There is the potential we may be able to get things started earlier. It is obviously all dependent on us having the ability to settle the claim. I'm quite confident we can do that in the next couple of weeks, but you know, our experience with things like the arena and the pool tells me that it doesn't always happen as quickly as you would like. So that's just a presentation for council with respect to the process that administration intends to utilize going forward.
Good. Any questions, Mr. Skorczynski? Councillor Debuchy.
Yeah, with budget deliberations happening in October, November, would it be wise if to go into preliminary selection of a contractor and or negotiations? Because if the insurance money isn't enough to cover the projected cost, should that not be part of our discussions for budget in October?
Yeah, it's highly likely that the cost of the new building will be more than the settlement we're going to get. So the settlement is going to be based on an appraisal of the current building. And that's the settlement that we're likely to get just a one-term settlement, which I think is beneficial for us. But it is likely that we're going to need to have additional dollars depending on the design that council wants. That's why administration wants to bring design parameters initially to council in October before we have our strategic planning session, so that once we have those nailed down and council has approved them, from there we'll have a better understanding of what we're looking at from a total build cost.
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you for that report, and we look forward to the information coming forward in a month or two to to start getting some ideas and planning. And I like the fact that we're going to invite the public as well to have part of the consultation, so any of the golfing community, as well as cross-country ski community, and anybody for that matter can come out and look at the design concept and discussion with the Administration Council. Up next, we have a report on Works and Operation Facilities Parks 2020 Fall Update. Mr. Hishka is going to give us an update on that.
Good afternoon, Your Worship, members of council. I'm presenting the Works Operations Facilities and Parks 2020 Fall Update. The Works and Operations Facility and Parks departments have been working in 2020 to achieve goals within the corporate strategic plan and the regular course of operations and maintenance. While the COVID pandemic has affected our operations dramatically, we were still able to accomplish significant goals and objectives. Following are the highlights and forecasts for the current year. In waste management, the waste transfer station was closed to the public from March 17th to April 14th. During that time, residents were encouraged to utilize curbside pickup. Bag tags were available online and delivered by the bylaw officer. Landfill total volume for 2020 is forecast to be 10 to 15% higher than 2019. Water distribution. Water operations are on track for full compliance, including all DWQMS requirements, all audits, mandatory meetings, and strategy sessions have been completed as prescribed. The recent leak repair on Stevens Avenue was responsible for 30% of total volume. Roads. The 2020 resurfacing project planned and engineered for Nicolette and Steedman was withdrawn from the final budget due to priority funding allocated to other high priorities. A major component of the stormwater system had failed on Yawkey Avenue. Our staff excavated and replaced the pipe. The pavement will be replaced prior to October 31. Woodson and Winton Street resurfacing was recently approved by council. Provo Contracting will start the work in the coming days, with completion scheduled for October 31, 2020. Facilities. The clubhouse cleanup was contracted through the insurance company and carried out by the Works and Operations staff and equipment. The site was remediated and temporary facilities were turned over to recreation programming in just under 8 days. The arena compressor failure delayed the opening of summer ice programming. The arena will be back in operation shortly, with compressor delivery and installation anticipated by the end of September. The Porthole Pool was closed March 17th. Since that time, the annual maintenance program has been completed, including a compressor replacement for the small pool dryatron. Parks fully reopened in July. All equipment was tested by certified playground inspectors and cleaned by high-pressure steam prior to the open date to ensure maximum safety for users. And an update on staff. Staff has remained highly productive as we implemented safety protocols for their protection and to enable continuance of service. Crews worked split shifts, break areas were segregated, transportation was reshuffled to keep workers safely apart, including golf carts and side-by-sides for park staff. We anticipate further training of staff on snow removal equipment to enable more versatility this coming winter. Your administration presents this report for information only.
Thank you for that report. Any question, Mr. Hishka? Hearing none, I have a couple. I just want to say thank you for the great work around the clubhouse, because our crew did an awesome job with the turnaround and getting that facility torn down and back up with a trailer between yourself and administration. That's great. I think the public really appreciated that. As far as the sinkhole, the public was curious about the sinkhole. Can you give us a quick update in regards to that issue on the bottom end of Stevens Avenue?
Sure. So there's a storm pipe that failed in that area. The bottom had rusted out and some of the joints were loose, so water was going to ground. As it goes to ground, it creates a cavity, and when the cavity is big enough, the road surface falls in to fill the void. And the pavement was hanging. So what you see there now was the depth of the void, or the width and depth of the void. But originally it was just a small hole that, luckily it happened in the morning rather than late at night, and a car didn't end up in it. But anyways, with Provo on site to do Woodson and Winton, we should be able to save some money repairing this because of the mobilization. They're already trying to source the pipe that's going to be needed to be replaced. That project was repaved, sanitary, and everything else was done. That was in 2002, but they stopped at that manhole with the with the sanitary, or the storm water. Sorry, even though the sanitary and water went past there.
yeah.
So I don't know the history on why they would have saved that pipe. Maybe it had been replaced 10 years earlier or something.
Okay.
But, so we're in the midst of trying to ensure that we can get the pipe here quickly. And like I said about the sinkhole on Yawkey, we replaced that ourselves, but that was 2 meters deep and it was much smaller pipe. We're talking serious construction here, so we could help out, but we won't be able to affect the whole
So I think,
project.
yeah, thank you for that. I think that Yawkey, we all know that was continuation of all the programs as part of the old part of town, but there's big bucks that need to be spent there because we need to do all the plumbing, right?
The stormwater, we're confident in the sanitary.
Okay.
And we're confident in the water mains as well. I mean, you look at Brown Street, we had a leak on Brown Street 10 years ago. We dug it up, replaced the asphalt, and everything's been fine since then. So it's just a matter of, most of our problems are in laterals. The last main leak was there now, knock on wood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if only saving grace is the fact that Provo was here, it was a lot less cost of mob and demob for the equipment.
Correct.
So it happened, but it should save us a few bucks overall, but thank you for that.
Could I also just mention that from the bottom of the street, there's a catch basin and council-approved emergency
Right.
funding to reline the pipe that goes from that catch basin 240 feet to the manhole where we lost the side of the
Last
hill
year,
2
yeah.
years ago,
Yeah,
because we had a sinkhole there as well. So we were already in the process of doing some work down there. Now we just obviously have to do a lot more.
tie it all in together now.
Yeah.
Okay. In regards to the compressor at the arena, we did talk about it this morning, but just share with the public the process that you're going through with the replacement of the condenser.
Well, the CAO has ordered the compressor, the condenser, sorry, and the problem with it is it's being made in the States. I mean,
Right.
even the supplier, the Simco, the installer, doesn't know the delivery date. So hopefully we're not at the mercy of borders and customs, but if it was made in Canada, we'd go pick it up ourselves, but we don't have that option here.
Okay, so just for the public's information, the administration is doing everything they possibly can to get their facilities back up and running and we'll work.
We're still aiming for the end of September,
Right,
yes.
okay, good. Anybody else? Good, thank you very much for that report. Up next, we have a report on the 2020 COVID-19 pool and arena operations update. Sorry, Mr. Skarczynski and Ms. Goodchild will give us an update on that. I should have asked the question coming forward, but good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So on July 17th, 2020, the Government of Ontario began Stage 3 of a framework for reopening our province in the Thunder Bay region. This allowed for the reopening of public recreation facilities and pools. The Porthole Pool closed on March 17th. During the closure, regular maintenance was completed and an opening date of September 21st is scheduled. Administration has prepared a COVID-19 pool operating plan, which was reviewed and approved by the Thunder Bay District Health Unit. Key points from this plan include limited programs and swims, no sauna as per the Ontario regulations, showers will be unavailable, no change rooms upon entering the pool, patrons must come prepared by showering at home and wearing their swim attire to the pool. Personal belongings will be brought on the deck and stored with a bin system. Pre-screening and pre-booking of swims via the cashier office. 30-minute intervals between programs to allow for physical distancing in the change room and lobby, and for proper sanitization in between programs. We'll be limiting the number of swimmers to 20 during lengths and aquafit and 40 during public swims. The Marathon Arena also closed on March 17th. Regular shutdown procedures were completed with a planned reopening for summer ice in August. During the preparations for the summer ice program, it was discovered that the ice condenser was no longer in working condition and a new one was ordered. Repairs and installation of ice is scheduled with a tentative start date of September 28th for the ice season. Administration has prepared a COVID-19 operating plan for the arena, and key points from this plan include pre-screening before participating in programs, hand hygiene and mask wearing enforced when not on the ice surface. Change rooms and showers will be closed. If accessing a child or youth program, only one parent or guardian per child will be permitted into the building. Siblings will not be allowed to accompany the one parent or guardian. A maximum of 50 people total in the facility, not including players. A maximum of 20 players or skaters on the ice at one time, plus their coaches. And participants are to leave the facility promptly within 10 minutes after their designated ice time. Traffic flow in the lobby area is being managed by crowd control posts, floor stickers, signage, and the use of side and back doors. Patrons who exhibit symptoms will not be permitted to participate in programs. Administration is presenting the 2020 COVID-19 pool and arena update for information only.
Great, thank you for that. Anybody have any questions of Ms. Goodchild? I'll go with Mr. Valens first, Councilor Valens.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I guess my quick question would be, when we looked at programming pre-COVID and the return on investments and stuff for programs such as Float Fit, that kind of stuff, are we concerned at all with now the limitations or the restrictions that numbers will dip in those type of programs and the return on investment won't be essentially worth it? And are we looking at other programs to kind of work within those numbers and those perimeters and to be able to kind of find revenue somewhere?
So in general, we don't normally have more than the amount than what we're already planning for now in the pool at one time. So it'll probably be pretty normal in terms of numbers. However, programs like Float Fit won't be offered because there's too much touching.
So I'll just be
Thank
put on
you.
the bench for a bit. Councilor Debuchy?
Yeah, is there, from the hockey perspective, I know face guards are protected or mandatory, but has there any been thought about shields versus cages? Is there any recommendations coming from the health unit and or minor hockey or Hockey Canada?
No, there's no recommendations coming forward. Initially, back in, I think in June, we attended a Hockey Canada conference call, and it was floated, but there's no evidence to support that that's any better than the current practices that are in place. And I think with respect to the plans that we have in place, number one, they're, that we run them by the health unit, and number two, we have had local physicians look at our plans. So again, it really is about just being responsible and following the general recommendations that are provided through the municipality.
Councilor Ingvar, you had a question?
Just for clarification, so there's a point for the pool, it says no changes upon entering the pool. What about exiting? Is that the same, or are they gonna be allowed to change afterwards?
So when you enter the pool, you're gonna come in through the lobby and go straight onto the pool deck. You'll put your belongings in bins, which will be numbered and spaced out. Once you're finished your program, you'll go to your bin, collect your belongings, and then go to your respective change room to quickly change out of your wet clothes and then exit the building.
Councilor Valens?
I'm gonna assume with that being said, there will be no access to toys or anything, the balls, the boards. and
Correct,
that?
there's no toys or life jackets.
Oh, okay, so are residents expected to bring their own life jackets to the pool? And I'm gonna assume that toys are still not allowed in the pool, outside toys are not allowed to be brought to the pool, correct?
Correct.
So one question I had in regards, and thank you very much for that awesome report, because I think you've done all the right things and got all the right information for everybody to be safe within the facilities that we're operating. But you did mention about 20 players per on ice. Does that mean per team or all combined, players and coaches?
So it's 20 players on the ice at one time,
Right.
plus your coach.
Okay. So, sorry, go ahead if you want to highlight that.
Yeah, just a follow-up. Right now, under Stage 3 in Ontario, there are no games allowed.
Okay.
There are only practices
Okay.
allowed.
Okay.
So the 20 number is based off of
One-
that.
one team and coaches, yeah.
i.e.,
Okay, that- okay,
it could be
that-
the under 13 group, they have 19
Sure.
kids. And
Okay.
until the province changes and goes to Stage 4, there will be no games in Ontario.
Okay, so that was my concern, because I thought if there's a game, you got a lot of kids on both sides, but, okay, thank you for that clarification. Councilor Valens? Yeah.
Have we heard from the user groups for both the pool and the arena? Is there any concern there with user groups not renting as much? I'm just more so thinking revenue coming in, that kind of, no concern in that component?
I think it's difficult to say at this point in time. We do expect that there is going to be a decrease in revenue. But I think, at least for 2020, we're going to be supported by the COVID relief funds that we received from the province for us, which was, about $200,000. But until we actually go through the process, it's going to be difficult to evaluate, what the rest of the year looks like. I think what the fall months will do for us is they'll set us up in terms of what the budget for 2021 will be, a more realistic take on what we can expect, with the pandemic situation. We do have an ICE user group meeting scheduled for Wednesday of this week, just to take the user groups through the processes. I think, the one overarching statement I'd like to make to the public, and, because we've heard some comments, is it's highly unlikely we're gonna go back to what we were used to prior to the pandemic. It'd be great if we could, But the reality is, you know, restrictions that we have in place are governed by, you know, the province of Ontario through our health unit. And, you know, I don't think we're gonna see, you know, a relaxation of them until the new year. You know, the province announced that they've already put a 4-week delay on looking at going to stage 4, which puts us into November now. So it wouldn't be December till we went to stage 4. So things aren't gonna be the same, but I think, you know, administratively, we worked as hard as we possibly could to get the facilities open.
Right, thank you. Councillor Debuchy?
Yeah, just for the users, so that they can get this information or the full details of the plans, are they available online so that nobody's surprised when they go to the arenas?
Yeah, so all this information is posted on our website, marathon.ca. You can click under Arena, Fitness, or Pool. It's also been shared on Facebook, and the girls at the front all have a copy if someone needs a paper copy.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that report, and the public has all the opportunity to contact any one of the town staff as well as the Facebook to get updated on information with that. So up next, we have a motion here for the Franco-Ontarian Day Act, which is a legislative act, April 26, 2010, is declared as September 25th of each year to recognize Franco-Ontarian Day throughout the province of Ontario. In the past, Councillor Zingle has supported the town. Obviously, with COVID-19, they're going to do a virtual one where there'll be simply myself. Maybe if council wants to join, we'll raise the flag and maybe do a small little clip that they can share with their Franco-Ontarian group and promote it through that way, through a virtual promotion. But that's all will be done. So the motion will be there that I therefore be resolved. The Mayor Rick Dumas hereby proclaims September 25th as Franco-Ontarian Day and join the Francophone community of the town of Marathon in celebrating the exceptional contribution to Ontario's growth and prosperity they have brought. So with that, I need a mover and seconder. Councillor Ingram, Councillor Valance, and then I'll send out a memo to council, and if they want to join me, I'll just do a little clip outside with the flag raising sometime this week or early next, and we'll go from there and pass it on to the Franco-Ontarian group marathon. Okay, great, thanks. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Up next, we have a council resolution here supports the attached resolution received by Township of Push Lynch pertaining to the COVID-19 funding. As you know, we received, as Mr. Scruton just mentioned, a COVID recovery fund of just over $200,000 from the province. This motion has been passed on from the community of Oshawa, identifying that they want additional funding to help support the groups and agencies out there in our communities. And I'll read the therefore be resolved part, that the federal, provincial, and regional governments help local municipalities to assist in their local social and cultural service clubs and children, youth, and minor sporting organizations with clear and definite relief funding programs directed to help sustain and aforementioned groups through these trying times inflicted on them by the effects of COVID-19, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Prime Minister of Canada, the Premier of Ontario, and all Ontario municipalities and members of the provincial parliament, and all members of parliament and the Association of Municipalities and Ontario Federation of Canadian Municipalities to support this. And this is about additional funding for not only municipalities, but to help all our groups and social groups within the community. So I need a mover and a second to put that on the floor. Councillor Debuchy, second by Councillor Valance. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And anything else before we close? Because I do have an in-camera meeting to present. The boat launch, yes, sorry. The boat launch, we did discuss, and we have some work going on down there at the launch, which in regards to the there's some problems within the Peninsula Tug that has to be rectified, and so that becomes a construction zone, so that'll be a company and doing some remediation work there. That will be closed for an additional portion of time after September 21st. And then administration is looking at those dates in between and trying to get something in regards to opening again for access until the second part of the closure, which will be another construction site, which will be the dismantling of the Peninsula Tug. At that point, there will be notifications through the town's Facebook as well as information through the media that we will be closing those dates. And I don't know if you want to add anything on, Mr. Skrinsky, in regards to that?
Yeah, I think just for the public to stay tuned to the municipality's Facebook page as well as media updates. We obviously have a significant amount of work to do to prepare for the removal and dismantle of the tug, and that's gonna require some large equipment. What we don't want is an intermix of public and those construction activities. We certainly appreciate the fact people still wanna use the launch. It looks like we're gonna get some great weather here in the later part of September. So, you know, when it's available, we will open it to the public with some safety protocols in place. But as of September 21st, we need to prepare our construction plan, and that has to be priority so we can complete this work before the real winter weather starts to set in.
Okay, any other questions? So stay tuned, it'll be posted on our site, and if you have any additional questions, contact the municipality through your administration team or as any one of the counselors, and you can get an update. We'll do the best we can in regards to trying to continue to open the facility and have access to the water, as well as doing the construction and cleanup of the beach area, which we know there's a lot of hazardous stuff there right now with railway ties, cables, all kinds of other things, so we need to get that cleaned up. Okay, with that being said, we're going to an in-camera meeting directly following this public meeting of council. We'll be discussing a proposed pending acquisition, disposition of land of the municipality, as well as a trade secret and scientific, technical, commercial, and financial information that belongs in a closed meeting at the municipality. So, I need a mover and a seconder. Adjourn at the hour of 12:25 PM. Master Councilor
Oh.
Balance, seconded by,
Discussion of,
No, we'll-
change time?
we'll discuss that
Oh, okay.
at an appropriate time.
Okay.
Okay,